Greetings, dear ones, and welcome, welcome, all who are joining me on this powerful, powerful evening of the eclipse, the partial lunar eclipse, which was visible throughout. Oops, we had a little blip there. Once again, good evening, and welcome, dear ones, to our eclipse event. This is the 19th, the evening of the partial lunar eclipse that occurred in the wee hours of the morning. It was visible to all of the United States and many other countries. And it was a partial lunar eclipse that allowed for the moon to be covered, all except for a little sliver. There was a little sliver of a moon. Those who are here live, if you would just jot down in the comments whether you were able to see the eclipse at all, whether you set your clocks and woke up at any point along the process of the eclipse, which was a very, very large window of time in this particular instance. This was the longest eclipse, meaning that it was the longest period that the moon was occulted or covered since the year 1440. So that was 580 years ago. So this was a very special one in many ways. And if you did have an opportunity to take a peek at it at all, or to sit in the energetics of it, either last night or in the wee hours of the morning, had any dreams, or if you were feeling anything in particular today, please put that in the comments, because everything that you experienced, everything that you observed, anything that popped out at you is part and parcel of this container we are sitting in this evening, and creates the sacred geometrics of not only what you're able to experience personally, but the farther reaching effects of what we're doing this evening. So I welcome you all here. I am so glad you're joining us. Please, again, just add in the comments here or there what you experience, what you're observing, maybe what you're curious about, or even what you're looking forward to from the results of this eclipse. So those of you may be aware, some of you may be aware, that an eclipse is an energetic portal. Now, we have a lot of energetic portals occurring at this point in time, because there are a lot of energetics assisting in this project Earth. And each one of us are receiving towers, if you will, or satellite dishes that are receiving energetics from our own personal connections, and those that are here benefiting your particular progress, your particular exploration, your particular transmutation of what have been either long-standing lineage issues, cultural issues, from either one, the other side of your family, the current culture that you're living in. So my point being that if you're here at this point in time, you are something special, truly here, purposefully, significantly. So please don't ever underestimate that. And so your comments and sharing what you've been observing or feeling, or including, and please do include, anything that is bothering you, anything that's up. Those of you who have worked with me for years, either live or in groups here on the virtual setting, know that with this particular perspective of work, all that you've been experiencing in the negative or discomfort or upsetting is so powerful in the combination. This is an alchemical process. And so I'm going to be bringing forward some of the energetics that I've been observing, some of the things have been coming through client sessions, and kind of what the potential is for this particular eclipse, and what it can do for you personally and what it can do globally for us all. So please do comment. Please jump on and let me know what you're experiencing. Hi, Amy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So glad you're here. Interesting visions, she's saying, during the eclipse meditation she did last night. So if you can name a few of those as we're going on, or you might find that something I mention is related, please do go ahead and let me know. I'm going to try to keep up with the comments, but as you all know that have worked with me before, sometimes when we're getting into the energetics, that may become a little challenging, which is why for the most part here on out, we're going to be gathering on Zoom so that people can comment verbally and really put their input. So, as I mentioned earlier, this is the longest eclipse in 580 years, and the last one occurring in the year 1441. And if we are looking back in history at that point in time, there's always been in history a lot of changes, a lot of empire shifting, and there certainly was that going on at this point in time. It had been just, excuse me, about 10 years since Joan of Arc, in order to kind of give you a history point to reference back to. The 100 Years' War, which had been going on and off and on and off between England and France, was ending. It was also the end of the Crusades. And finally, the Christian warriors were pushed back out, and the land returned to those that had been there for many years before. It would be, excuse me, it would be interesting for you to just pull up, I don't know, Wikipedia or some encyclopedia site where you can just look at the, I don't know, 30 years, 30, 50 years before that and what was leading up to this point in time. But there was great upheaval, as we are seeing now. There was a great change in borders and who was in power and who wasn't. The church being very involved in that, the Roman Catholic Church being involved in that. So it's also within a few decades of Muhammad and his information coming forth. Another great leader of the Sufi tradition, one of the few women leaders, a woman empress in China. Again, within like a 50, 60 year period. So very fascinating things, some very, very forward moving things, and some very regressive, let's say, happenings as well. And the reason I'm mentioning that is, for me, when anything has occurred in history and is occurring again, they are touch points for, I don't want to say comparison, but an ability to look at history and where we are and what we're attempting to do in this evolutionary leap that we are within. And again, those of you who are familiar with my work know that I refer to it as a leap because we are going to be transmuting and really becoming more than we are as a species on a human nature level. That doesn't just mean being aware, it doesn't mean awakening, it doesn't mean becoming more conscious. It means literally changing human nature so that we are no longer repeating history. And those of you who've worked with me know that that is the basis of the individual one-on-one group or the one-on-one sessions as well as group sessions, is to use your history. Your history is there because you wrote it, you designed it, you laid it out as a map for yourself. Just as we have history, however incorrect or revised or rewritten it has been, there are still patterns that can be seen throughout history. And we are in an evolutionary process to break those patterns individually and globally. And occurrences such as the eclipse are the cosmos joining us, handing us energetics that can coincide with our own individual transformation or transmutation process if you're going even deeper, and allowing for, it's not just something to see in the sky. There are literally specific frequencies, vibrations, energetic configurations that are coming through to assist in any given way. For today it happens to be the eclipse, although I am also going to be bringing in some of the other alignments or star positioning. And for me, I have always, for the past, 20 something years, been aligned with sidereal astrology. If you go to Google sidereal astrology, it'll generally send you to astrology from the Hindu tradition, but that's not the actual type of astrology that I'm referring to. Sidereal astrology is the astrology of the ancients, ancient Greece, ancient Egypt, ancient Sumeria, and long before some of the civilizations that we're familiar with, or the forms of civilizations we're familiar with, were even in existence. So man has been watching the sky, watching the stars, watching the movement, tracking our position in relation to the galaxy and beyond, for millennia before the Roman Empire, millennia before many of those, even the modern Greek upon which, a lot of the United States governing and democracy is based. So this history of the skies has been influencing and assisting and guiding those that we're bringing knowledge to humanity. Now, that was usually central, as I said, whether it was Greece or ancient Egypt or ancient Sumeria and several other cultures, certainly in Latin America, again, South America, they've been watching the skies for thousands and thousands of years as well, and have been able to predict some of the things that we're experiencing right now. But so in this point in time, we have Venus. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Venus, but if you've been watching this past month, she's been very, I refer to her as a she, she's been very, very prominent, but usually in the evening sky, and has moved to now the morning, the wee hours of the morning. So I did grab some pictures. My phone was not the best for taking those pictures, but almost every one that I took has a very, very bright and strong star right next to it. And it did turn out to be Venus. And Venus is helping us in several ways. It is allowing us, or giving us an opportunity for revision of our lives and to access where our future self is guiding us. So, in other words, to get information, which is fabulous. We also have Mercury, which is the strongest catalyzer we have in our solar system, and has always been a part of the alchemical process or alchemy, which again, these ancient civilizations from then on, alchemy has been I don't want to say discipline, but a way of exploring, experiencing, learning, and becoming more, using the laws of nature, the laws of the universe. And Mercury this month is going through Libra, and it's trining, meaning that it's making a three position or a triangle with Neptune in Aquarius. And that's giving us information from the cosmic airwaves. So the more you're able to sit outside and kind of take these in, or even lay in a bed, or sit in a chair where if it's too cold out, to look outside and view them. It's really beneficial to receive hints, information, maybe even full downloads, sensations from these cosmic helpers. And I'm just seeing Lisa. Lisa's here. Hi, Lisa. And she is letting me know that she woke up at 4:03. So she is very aware that her mind and body were in tune with the eclipse. Yes, that was actually, I think they suggested 4:03, as a matter of fact, as the peak point when you could see it. So good reliance upon your body and your being to wake you up. And she said that she wasn't planning on it. She didn't set an alarm, even though I was not paying attention why I was awake at the time. Now I realize it was the eclipse. And rest assured, Lisa, that when you fell back into sleep, I'm getting such a strong hit or indicator. As I'm speaking to you, Lisa, this is for you in particular, that as you went back to sleep, you were definitely being worked with and given information, and you were receiving the energetics in the download because you woke up, and obviously with that your system was saying yes, kind of bring it on, bring it to me. And so they did. I'd love to hear if you happen to remember any dreams, or in the coming days what's going on. Please go ahead into Applied Universal Alchemy and make comments there, and I will answer you. And as you know, I will do reads of anything that you may have a question about. So that's a little bit about the background, but from what information that I was receiving is that, when we're looking at history, whether it's our own, or in this case I was mentioning history of humanity, we are living right now in the results of a lot of those wars, conquering, one country taking over and running another or several, and the bitter feelings and arguments and the sensations of being controlled and conquered, and to have your culture either diminished or in some cases wiped out entirely. The Roman Catholic Church was very good at that. When they went into a country and either took over the tribes, and I say tribe, but I mean a people, their way of life, their beliefs, their religion, and overlaid it with holidays and important, or what they decided were significant points in the church calendar, or outright damned them and made it dangerous for people to continue to practice. So we have a lot of oppression, a lot of conquering, a lot of others taking control and diminishing us and dismissing our way of being, our way of life. And so we're still experiencing that on a collective basis. And it's probably going to be showing up in your life in a way when you were a child, in relation to your parents. In some instances with clients, it has been extremely overt, blatant, and very, very extreme. In others, it has been more subtle. It doesn't mean that it does not have an extreme level of wounding or pain. It just means that it was more subtle, taking it to energetic or spiritual levels as well. So notice what's going on in the collective, notice what's going on within you, notice where you're feeling as if you are imprisoned or trapped or unable to break free or out of something. I would say that that's something that's, going to be very up. What else? And to just realize that even within you, you could have brought two lineages together within you on from one parent and then another culture from the other parent, and those two cultures have had many centuries of fighting and warring and clashing. So we have that going on within us. It's a fascinating time to be alive, and I will repeat again and again and again. You are at some level of mastery if you are here right now, especially if you have been a seeker and someone who has been looking in themselves and looking, spiritually and otherwise. So please give yourself that magnificent valuing that you as a soul decided to be a purposeful and powerful participant in this massive evolutionary process this particular species is going through. So I know that was a lot, and you may have to re-listen again, but there are things to be aware of, and also to open up to not only the energetics that are here at this moment, because any cosmic event, and particularly any moon, full moon, new moon, etc., the energetics are 24 to 48 hours prior to the actual event and 24 to 48 hours after the event is when they're strongest. But some of these influences are coming through the entire month, and just take an opportunity to keep watching the skies and looking around you. Some of the earth beings that we have participating with us this evening and at this point in time is the beaver. This was known as the beaver moon for a long time. And excuse me, I'm just pulling up some information. The beaver moon is from a particular Native American tribe, and that has been kind of followed as far as their naming of the moons. The beaver it was related also to the fur trade, unfortunately. But beaver is about a builder. He's a builder and a doer and very active, and the energies of creativity and cooperation, they do have to join together to make those huge and complex dams. Perseverance, absolutely perseverance. And because certainly as they get certain things positioned, there can be a rush of water, and it's pushed away and they have to start again. Or oftentimes their entire or most of their entire dam can be washed away or destroyed and have to start all over again. So notice your perseverance, or if you're feeling you need that and that aspect, then call upon Beaver this month and allow the help to come in. Another feature or characteristic of the beaver is that each individual has a particular contribution to make. And it's hard at times for us to acknowledge or to see or feel that those that are apparently either causing harm or creating discord or triggering us, again, personally, individually, or collectively, with what's going on politically, what's going on culturally, what's going on in regard to even, environmental disasters, etc. And it's really, really difficult to acknowledge that those two are purposeful, significant, and very, very holy, if you will, factors in this mix. So keep that in mind. Another of the energetics that has been very powerful this week in particular is that of prisms. And prisms can come in many forms, but there are several that we're more familiar with than others. One is the flat, polished surface that refracts light, and that means that it actually can split it, and you can see the rainbows coming through. I think I spoke to Amy during the week, and Amy has been also experiencing that prism energy and the ensuing rainbows from it. There are also prisms that actually break white light into multiple pieces, and it splits it actually into polarizations. So I think that's very, very interesting that we have these energetics that are coming on, and we experience them as splitting or separation or polarization, and yet they actually are one of a whole, in that white light includes, or white, the color white is all the colors mixed together. So and then there are prisms that actually reflect. So there are people who are reflecting things back to you. The outside world is being reflected back to you. That type of prism we see in binoculars and the like. Another strong influencer right now is translucence. And translucence is about allowing light to shine through something, but without the detailed shapes within it. I don't know whether it's possible to see with the camera, but this is, I'd like the light to be better, but maybe you can see the translucence of this particular stone. It is on multiple sides, but see if you can find, oops, again, sorry, a little bit difficult to show that, but look around for things that have translucence. Here's another one, again, this is more of an opaque translucence, not coming up in this light, my apologies, but you can find some and invite that energy around you, because it allows you to then see, as that light goes through something that looks clouded or indistinct, it can help you see something, whether it's a pattern within you, whether it's something that's going on around you out in the world or otherwise. So this is all in our mix. And as I was sitting in preparation for tonight's gathering, all of these energies have been here and moving around, and so they are part of this container. And anything that you have noticed, again, I would invite you to please, just mention it in the comments. Anything that has been, you've seen multiple times during the week, or you've heard something. And this is how your system tries to speak with you. It brings repeated experiences or repeated symbols. And we have lots of help doing that. As I said, the animals. Last week I spoke of the deer in the Ancient Future Wisdom episode. And in one of my ventures outside last night, I was out on my deck looking at the eclipse and, working with the energetics. And I decided that was a good moment to go walk the labyrinth. Well, as I took a step off the deck, I heard a rustling on the other side of my yard. And sure enough, there were 2 deer there. They had been standing out there with me. I don't know how long I'd been standing out there watching and feeling and experiencing the eclipse, but they had been right there. And when I crunched down on the leaves, they took off. I was able to toss some corn for them, so I do hope they got it either later last night or they'll probably tonight. And deer are wonderful, wonderful animal teachers that gift us the reminder that with gentleness, even the hardest of hearts can be melted. And, the invitation continues. Obviously, I've been seeing them all week and for the past 2 weeks, as a matter of fact, right here in my neighborhood. And so be aware of how deer, you may not have them in your neighborhood, you may not be able to see them live, but they will show up, whether it's, on your computer in some form or on TV, you're flipping channels and you just stop and there's a deer, or the show is about deer, for example. They will try to reach you any way they can. They are here for your benefit. They are trying to speak to you and reach you. And when you learn that language, when you're able to transform and transmute pieces within you, that your own intuitive abilities come online and there's constant feedback from the universe, your questions are answered in one way or another very easily, and in some rather far out instances, which I refer to as hypersynchronicity. I didn't create the term. Or what I did create was the idea that, like, what are the odds? The odds are so astronomical that could not be an accident. It could not be coincidence. That it had to be lined up and arranged particularly for you to receive that information. So open up and let it all in. I'm being given the yellow light, almost the green light, for us to drop into the energetics. So if there's anything that anyone would like to comment or bring forward to put into this beautiful container, please let me know, because it will be added. And as you know, sometimes I am unable to look up, so let me know now ahead of time. I do want to share with you as we begin just a very short prayer. Again, those of you who know me know that I am very connected to and aligned with the Farmer's Almanac. I think it has great wisdom in it, great knowledge and ways of seeing our environment and the world around us that we have come to discount. but that is very, very powerful. And this week's email that they send me, this beautiful poem was there. It's a very short poem by Thomas Hardy. Very interesting man in and of himself, if you happen to look him up. But right now, I'd like to invite you to really find your seat, find your sits bones, find your kind of rear end, really sitting and anchored on that chair. Because when you do, it enables you to let your skeletal system take over, and you can let go of the need to hold yourself up and really sink down and in. And again, if you've been doing any of these practices or have worked with me at all, you know that I teach a way of journeying or exploring or traveling, which is down and within you rather than up and out through the third eye, which takes you to a particular bandwidth of energy, but that may not actually be yours. We are not all here with the same combination of frequencies within us. So when you go down and within you, you are going into your inner universe, or your inner verse, as I refer to it. And your system, your wider self, your energy field, your guides and teachers and masters, in conjunction with all that is here in this container, help and guide and lead you, not with your mind, but energetically, down and within you to the exact right location for your highest benefit, and to enable you to really receive the transmissions. So while you're settling in, I notice Sarah has shared with us that she's been noticing female ducks swimming in water, framed through the trees. Oh my, what a beautiful image, and what a beautiful energy that is. Female ducks swimming in water, framed through the trees. And so that's a whole energetic in itself, and Sarah, being the earth mistress that she is, usually brings in quite large chunks of information. So thank you, Sarah. And as you settle down and in your chair and really let your back just kind of soften, and maybe let those shoulder blades kind of slide down and together so that it automatically opens your chest, enabling your diaphragm to have more space. You might feel called to take a breath, but not necessary. Please know that your individual way is the way for you. But again, the more you kind of let those shoulder blades down and slide together, not pushing them, but just notice them. Ah, yes, there they are. Opens up that diaphragm. So no need to request it, but I will remind those who aren't familiar with this way to just allow your body, allow your energy field allow your wider self, which is your soul self, and it's not confined in this physical plane, and your guides and teachers and masters who already have been here, especially when you make a comment and I name you, it's almost as if it is calling in your people to coordinate and create bridges and lines of communication with all the other masters that are already here. The Supreme Council of Universal Spiritual Law is overseeing all of this practice and more, so need not worry about anything or any way. The ancients, of course, have been here. That is an intergalactic council of beings that I've worked with for 2 or 3 decades at this point. And to, again, bring a little more energetics, I did so before, but I'm going to name them now. I'm asking Chief Jamie to please bring in the directions of the east for illumination, the direction of the west for introspection, the direction of the south, wide-eyed wonder and playfulness, the direction of the north for patience, prayerfulness, wisdom, the direction of below, the underworlds, the inner worlds, the engineers and maintainers of this planetary form. The direction of above with our cosmic family and all the many helpers there, some of which we have named this evening. And the direction of within, for that is where all answers lie, where your true being lies. Call in and call upon the elements, land, air, fire, water, to combine and balance in the exact right way for each one present here or those listening in future, in such a way that your physical, mental, emotional, and energetic bodies are in the right, exact right positioning and combination for you. Thy shadow, earth, from pole to central sea, now steals along upon the moon's meek shine, an even monochrome and curving line of imperturbable serenity. And with that, I call in and call upon even more concentratedly the beautiful energetic portal of the partial lunar eclipse, created by this magnificent planet Earth, sitting in between the energy of the sun, that fire masculine, and the energy of the moon, beautiful, feminine, emotional, flowing. We live in a time when it is so fortunate for us to be able to understand and measure and not fear such an event. For many millennia, those that did not have the knowledge were never sure whether the moon would be blotted out forever and they would remain in darkness. Will that be the case with this species? And the wonder of it all is that you get to decide. Your vote matters. Your life matters. Your exploration matters. But more than anything, it is simply your being here that matters. Nothing you need do, simply need to be. Being here and loving the God within, the divine within, the spirit within, is your highest purpose. This is an opening for the future. Your future. Earth's future. man's future, humanity. Everything is shifting, everything is changing, everything has an opportunity to become allow yourself to feel the potentials. As we speak of history and the past, and truly envision what we want for the future. You here in the present are what determine both. So I invite you to just feel. Feel yourself in your dream life. Without necessarily putting in details or requests, but simply feeling what it will be like. Notice it is what it will be like, not would be or could be, but what it shall be like. What will you feel? In relation to your body. What will you feel emotionally in connection to yourself, within you? What will you feel? Peace of mind, strength, power, confidence, assurance, safety, security, serenity. Joy, pleasure, excitement. What will you feel in your relationships to others? In your work, in your neighborhood, in your family, in your community, in your culture, in your country? What will you feel in your environment, in your home, in the land around you? In the global environment? In your finances? What will you feel in relation to your creation abilities, creativity, through your work, through your passionate projects? What will you feel in relation to the divine, spirit, God, universal intelligence, whatever you choose to name this greater unity, union? That translucent energy is strong, obscuring the details to enable you to feel yourself in this future present self. Becoming the prism of this splitting of many frequencies of color and light. The many frequencies and vibrations in this expression of your future self. the security and gentle ease and movement brought to us through those female ducks in the water, framed by the trees. The creativity and perseverance of Beaver. Even when it seems the world is not moving forward. Perseverance in your internal knowing, your internal sense of your presence. I'm going to invite you to drop another octave deeper. You need not know what that means or how to do that. Rest assured that your energy field and your wider self know exactly what to do. This is simply another level of allowing your own system and all that is here to guide and assist, leading you deeper down and within. Down and within. Down and within. The more you soften and let go of your third eye, the more deeply you will experience your internal world, your inner wisdom. The wider you, it might even feel as if you're falling asleep. Allow that to happen, trusting that you are dropping into a deeper state, an altered state, where your system can best gift you where you are most able to take in and receive the transmissions. magnificent celestial bodies, planets, stars, sun, moon, earth itself. No effort, no work, no do, no focus, no intention. Simply allow. Your soul knows. That's it. Wonderful, beautiful work, each one of you. deeper into your dream. Dreaming it into being. Dreaming the new way of this world into being. Just as when you allow yourself to ever so gently move from a sleep state to a waking state in your comfy bed, so too now allow your body and your energy field and your wider self to organically, naturally, in your way, begin the gradual process of moving from a less physical state back to a more physical state. Do not push, do not pull, do not make anything happen. For there is much benefit and wondrous gifts that can come in the journey from this wider, deeper state is all that you experienced and gleaned and took in is consolidated into your system. This does not mean yank yourself out and open your eyes. Feel the journey. Let yourself be led, guided. Simply follow. There is such richness in this in-between place. Of less physical and physical simultaneously. Unbound by the body, yet deeply anchored in the body. This amazing and beautiful vehicle that allows you such wondrous experiences. enabling you to receive a gift of a word, a symbol, a sound, a shape, a song title, story, book, legend, movie, memory. Animal, mineral. Perhaps a sensation or even a smell. Not having to know its meaning, but simply receiving. And with the absolute knowing that if it is not something in this moment, it shall be forthcoming. Over the next day or two, but remember what it feels like to be more deeply within you, more deeply connected with you. In communion with the divine of you, the human of you. With all of us joined here together, and any of those that may listen in future. For it is a conjoined effort. This fabulous project, Earth, humanity, evolution. And as you are ready, and only when your system is indicating to you that it is right, you can open your eyes, and hopefully you have some water with you. Again, those of you who know this work know that you will need to definitely increase your water intake tonight, tomorrow, even possibly into the next day. And I would love just a one-word comment from those that are here. Nothing you need to make a big deal about, but just to let me know that you are back enough. Or if you really feel strongly that you need to stay in this space, you are welcome to do so. And then please get in touch with me if you have any questions or anything arose that may need to be addressed. Anybody back yet? No worries. Just as always, it is with the deepest of honor, gratitude, and love for your presence here on the planet. Good night.